After hearing the countless exciting stories from friends and family, I decided to head to the casino for a night of fun and excitement. The bright lights and the promise of a thrilling evening filled me with anticipation. Little did I know that this night would turn into a terrifying nightmare. As I stepped inside the casino, the air was thick with the smell of cigarettes, and the sound of slot machines filled the room. I navigated through the crowd, eager to try my luck at the tables. The hours passed by quickly as I got caught up in the games, the occasional win boosting my confidence. When the clock struck midnight, I decided it was time to call it a night. As I made my way towards the exit, I couldn't shake off the feeling that I was being watched. The hairs on the back of my neck stood on end, but I brushed it off as paranoia, blaming the dimly lit casino atmosphere for playing tricks on my mind. I stepped out into the empty parking lot, relieved to breathe in the fresh night air. But my relief quickly turned into fear as I realized I was not alone. A shadowy figure emerged from the darkness, blocking my path to the car. Panic gripped me, and my heart raced as I fumbled for my keys. "Hand over your wallet and phone!" a voice commanded, cold and menacing. The figure's face was concealed beneath a black ski mask, and the glint of a knife caught the moonlight. With trembling hands, I complied, hoping that giving in to their demands would be the end of it. But my nightmare was far from over. They forced me into the back seat of a waiting car, tying my hands and blindfolding me. The sound of the engine starting sent shivers down my spine as the vehicle sped away into the night. I had been kidnapped. Hours passed in agonizing silence, my mind racing with thoughts of escape. The car eventually came to a stop, and I was dragged out, stumbling over uneven ground. The sound of creaking doors and the unmistakable scent of dampness filled the air, indicating that I had been taken to an abandoned building. Inside, I could hear muffled voices and the clinking of chains. My captors had other victims. Panic consumed me as I imagined the horrors they had endured. In the darkness, I began to plan my escape, praying for a moment of weakness or distraction. Days turned into a blur as I endured the torment of captivity. Each passing moment felt like an eternity, filled with fear and uncertainty. But as luck would have it, my opportunity for freedom finally arrived. A commotion erupted outside the building, the sound of sirens drawing closer. In the chaos, my captors became disoriented, allowing me a chance to break free. With a surge of adrenaline, I tore off my blindfold and ripped through the ropes that bound me. Crawling through the darkness, I navigated my way out, guided only by the faint glow of the moonlight. I emerged into the night, bruised and battered, but alive. The police had arrived, and the sound of their sirens pierced the night. It was over. The nightmare had come to an end. As I reflect on that harrowing experience, the memories still haunt me. The night at the casino that was supposed to be filled with fun and excitement had turned into a terrifying ordeal. I now carry the scars, both physical and emotional, reminding me of the darkness that can lurk in the most unexpected places. Hey Reddit, I never thought I'd be sharing a story like this, but I need to get it off my chest. Something unnerving happened to me when I visited a casino last week, and it still sends shivers down my spine just thinking about it. Buckle up, because this is the stuff of nightmares. It all began when I decided to take a break from my mundane routine and indulge in a bit of excitement. A friend had recommended a local casino known for its vibrant atmosphere and thrilling games. Eager to escape reality for a while, I eagerly set out on my gambling adventure. As I entered the casino, I couldn't help but be captivated by the dazzling lights and the lively crowd. The place seemed like the perfect escape, a sanctuary for thrill-seekers and risk-takers. I had my doubts about casinos and their tricks, but little did I know what awaited me that night. I started by trying my luck at the slot machines, hoping to win a few bucks to get the ball rolling. But as I played, I couldn't shake off a strange feeling. It seemed like everyone around me, the fellow players, and even the staff had an eerie familiarity with the casino's operations. Curiosity got the better of me, and I decided to take a closer look. What I discovered was utterly chilling. Every single person I encountered was an employee, but they were meticulously disguised as regular gamblers. It was a conspiracy hiding in plain sight, a malicious plot to drain unsuspecting players of their money. They played their parts so convincingly, blending into the crowd seamlessly, that an untrained eye would never suspect a thing. But I had stumbled upon their secret, and the panic began to consume me. The smiles on their faces were no longer friendly. They felt sinister, predatory even. As the realization sank in, paranoia engulfed my every move. Each game I played, each table I approached, I couldn't help but feel their malicious intent. The dealers, the waitstaff, and even the security guards, they all worked in perfect harmony, preying on visitors like me. Their tactics became clear. They would subtly manipulate the odds, ever so slightly, to ensure that the house always won. Every spin of the roulette wheel, every shuffle of the deck was orchestrated to siphon money from innocent players. It was a twisted game within a game, and I was caught in their web. Fear and desperation pushed me to devise a plan of escape. I discreetly retreated to a corner of the casino, where I could observe without drawing attention. My heart pounded in my chest as I watched the unsuspecting victims blissfully gamble away their hard-earned cash, oblivious to the sinister conspiracy. Minutes turned into hours as I collected evidence, documenting the eerie behavior and collusion among the casino's employees. I knew I had to share this with the world, expose their devious scheme before more lives were ruined. But the fear of retaliation and the realization that I had become a target made me hesitant. Eventually, I managed to slip away, leaving the casino with my sanity barely intact. I raced home, my mind racing with thoughts of the horrors I had witnessed. In the safety of my own space, I decided to share my story here, on Reddit, hoping that someone would believe me and take action. So, dear Redditors, be cautious when entering the world of gambling. The casino might not be the innocent escape it appears to be. Behind the glitz and glamour, a malevolent force may lurk, waiting to exploit your dreams and drain your pockets. Stay vigilant and remember my warning for your own sake. I can still feel their eyes on me, even as I type this. I can't shake the eerie sensation that they're watching, waiting for me to expose their dark secret. But the truth must be told, and if you're planning a trip to a casino anytime soon, I implore you to be wary. Your fortune and your sanity may hang in the balance. I stepped into the dimly lit casino on the Indian reservation with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. The air was thick with the scent of cigarettes and stale alcohol, and the faint jingle of slot machines filled the room. It was late, and the place was eerily quiet, save for the occasional chatter of a couple of gamblers lost in their own world. As I approached the blackjack tables, I couldn't shake off the feeling that something was off. There was an air of secrecy and hidden agendas lingering behind the scenes, almost as if the casino held secrets it didn't want to reveal. Ignoring my growing unease, I exchanged a few bills for chips and joined a table where a dealer with a weary expression awaited. The game began, and I quickly found myself engrossed in the intense atmosphere. But as I glanced around, I noticed that the casino employees seemed to be watching me closely, their eyes filled with a strange mix of suspicion and curiosity. It was as if they knew something I didn't, and they were waiting for the right moment to strike. As the night wore on, I decided to take a break from the tables and explore the casino further. I wandered down a dimly lit corridor, away from the glitz and glamour of the main gaming area. The hallway seemed to stretch endlessly, and I couldn't shake off the feeling that I was being followed. I stumbled upon a door, slightly ajar, and curiosity got the better of me. I pushed it open, revealing a room filled with dusty old documents and faded photographs. It appeared to be an office of some sort, but what caught my attention were the newspaper clippings pinned to a corkboard. The articles detailed a tragic history of the reservation. a series of unexplained deaths and disappearances that had occurred over the years. The names and faces of the victims stared back at me, and a shiver ran down my spine. It seemed that the reservation held more than just secrets. It held a darkness that no one wanted to acknowledge. Just as I was about to leave, a noise startled me, and I spun around to see a figure standing in the doorway. It was a Native American man, his eyes filled with sadness and anger. He gestured for me to follow him, and against my better judgment, I obliged. He led me down a narrow staircase that seemed to descend into the depths of the earth. The air grew colder, and a feeling of dread consumed me. Finally, we arrived at a hidden chamber, where I was greeted by a sight that would haunt me forever. Rows of machines, wires, and surveillance equipment filled the room, all hidden away from prying eyes. It became clear that the casino was more than just a place for gambling. It was a front for something much more sinister. The man explained that the reservation's leaders had been using the casino as a cover for their illegal activities, including drug trafficking and money laundering. As the truth sunk in, I knew I had stumbled upon something dangerous. The man urged me to leave immediately, to expose the corruption that thrived behind the scenes. I nodded, my heart pounding, and made a promise to myself to bring this dark underbelly to light. As I hurriedly left the hidden chamber in the casino, I couldn't help but feel a sense of relief mixed with lingering fear. The Indian reservation, once a place of hope and prosperity, had become a breeding ground for corruption and evil, and it was up to me to unveil the truth, no matter the cost. A couple of years ago, I found myself in Las Vegas for a business conference. One night, after a long day of meetings, I decided to let loose and experience the infamous Vegas nightlife. It was then that I stumbled upon the high-stakes casino, a place that had an unsettling reputation among the locals. As I entered the casino, I immediately noticed a sense of unease. The atmosphere was heavy, and the patrons seemed on edge. The clinking of chips and the slot machine's jingles melded together into a disconcerting symphony that sent shivers down my spine. But being the thrill-seeker that I am, I shrugged off the uneasy feeling and dove headfirst into the gambling madness. I made my way to the blackjack tables, where a sea of weary faces hunched over their cards. The dealers wore forced smiles, their eyes filled with a strange melancholy. It was as if they were trapped in a perpetual state of despair. As I sat down to play, a chill swept through me, making my palms clammy. The dealer, a middle-aged woman with a worn expression, dealt the cards with mechanical precision. Her movements were stiff, lacking the finesse of an experienced dealer. Something was definitely amiss. Soon, I noticed a pattern. The players around me were losing, consistently and mercilessly. It was as if the odds were stacked against them from the beginning. Their expressions of frustration turned into desperation, their chips dwindling away with each passing hand. I couldn't help but feel a knot tightening in my gut as the eerie realization sank in. But it wasn't just the losing streaks that made this experience terrifying. It was the people themselves. Their eyes reflected a haunting emptiness, as if their very souls were being sucked dry. Their laughter, once vibrant and carefree, now carried an undertone of despair. They were mere shells of their former selves, trapped in a never-ending cycle of addiction and misery. Then came the whispers, faint, barely audible voices that seemed to echo from the shadows. The words were indistinct, but their intent was clear. A warning. The casino itself seemed to possess a malevolent force, drawing in unsuspecting gamblers and devouring their hopes, dreams, and even their lives. In a moment of reckless bravery, I decided to confront the dealer, hoping to uncover the truth. As I gazed into her weary eyes, I asked her about the dark secret lurking within the casino's walls. She hesitated, her hands trembling ever so slightly, before whispering a single word: spirits. She explained that the high-stakes casino was built on a cursed piece of land, where countless lives had been lost to greed and addiction. The tormented spirits of those who had fallen victim to the casino's allure roamed the halls, forever bound to this realm, preying on the souls of the living. That night, I walked away from the high-stakes casino, my heart heavy with the weight of the paranormal. The experience forever changed me. It taught me that sometimes, the pursuit of fortune can lead us down a dark and treacherous path, one where our very essence is at stake. Hey everyone, if you enjoyed today's scary stories, consider subscribing and dropping a like on the video. If you have any ideas for what stories you would want to hear next, feel free to drop a comment below. Stay sleepless.